Hi there, welcome to the MiaRec platform overview. So in this video, I'm just going to quickly cover the layout of the MiaRec platform, and I'll highlight some important sections that you'll need to be able to navigate for the I guess the purposes of the free trial. So let's dive in. So right now we're looking at the login screen of MiaRec platform. So obviously we're using a web-based portal. So this is where all of your agents and all of your administrators and basically everyone who's using the platform is going to log in. So you have a username and password. And just FYI, we support single sign-on and also two-factor authentication. So feel free to use either of those. Upon signing in, it's just going to take you to the main dashboard, right? And there's several different dashboards here within this main dashboards tab. Now I'll come back to this one, but first I'd like to just start with the call recordings or recordings tab. So this is where you're going to be able to access all of your various call recordings. Now there's some preset tabs here that, feel free to use. They're helpful. I mean, obviously they're pretty self-explanatory. Like all calls is going to be all the calls that have ever happened or been recorded. Active calls will be any calls happening right now. So if you want to live monitor any calls, this is where you want to go. My calls would be the call specific to the user who's logged in, right? We also have a tab for by user. So if you want to search for calls just by a specific user, you can absolutely do that. And as you can see on this side tab here, there's some presets for all of the various users in the platform. You can also save calls by client. So if you are familiar or know the numbers or phone numbers that your customers call in from, feel free to save them within the platform. And this feature is actually, I would say, highly underrated. You can create some pretty cool reports if you know the numbers in which your clients are calling in from. So we can touch on that later, but just FYI again, unassigned calls would be any calls from an agent that has been deactivated or removed from the MiaRec platform. So that way, maybe if you lose an agent, they're terminated or quit, you don't have to lose their call data. It can live right here. We have this tagging capability. So in MiaRec, you can create custom tags, and then you can manually assign those tags to various calls for whatever reason, right? And then you can save them here. So for example, maybe I just want to see our maybe flight booking calls, right? Here's the tag. It's not pulling up any data because it's a testing instance, but the tagging feature is helpful, right? I mean, if you just want a quick view at certain calls. Shared calls. So just kind of going back here to the all calls tab, I'll show you that you can share calls within the MiaRec platform, which is nice, right? You don't have to export them and then email them. So if I wanted to share these with a specific user, I could just, click that and then apply, and then it'll share the calls with that user, and then they can access those calls within the MiaRec platform. So that's what this shared calls tab is. And then advanced search. So this is a really, really helpful tab. Now, MiaRec captures a lot of different pieces of metadata for every call, right? Like call duration, how long was it, call direction, inbound, outbound, and all of this other stuff that you can see here, right? So this is where you can set up custom searches for, I guess, any type of calls that you want to, right? Like, for example, maybe I want to see calls that are longer than 2 minutes, right? So I can set that up here and hit search. And if you'd like to, you can save all of your searches, and then they'll show up here. Maybe I want to see calls that are longer than 2 minutes from, I don't know, a specific user. Let's see if this will pull up any data. Hopefully it does, but if not, it's just, again, because it's a testing instance. There we go, Angela Harris. And then maybe I want to see all the calls that are longer than 2 minutes that have a sentiment label of positive, right? Or very positive. There we go. So you get the point. So you can save these these custom or advanced searches, and it's really helpful just for navigating them here. Now going back to the recordings tab, just some things you'll notice. So the data that's pulling up is based on a date range, so that's adjustable. You can filter by user or group. You can also, another thing you can do in advanced search, or you can do it right here, is you can search for text directly within the transcript of the call. So maybe speak to manager, right? You can do that, or do it in advanced search. That's another highly used feature within the advanced search. So like speak to manager, maybe I want to look at all calls that contain that, and it'll pull that up, right? Speaking with managing. So you have to be a little bit kind of creative with how you do it. It'll pull up kind of all the associated words, but it's a very helpful feature. All right. Now going back here, You can search by tags. You can download the calls if you'd like to. You can export the calls. So it's another way of sharing. So if you don't want to share within the platform, you can export them or export this to an Excel spreadsheet. You can delete calls. And then also you can mark calls as confidential. That's a rarely used one, but maybe if you want, maybe sometimes like for a use case of that is an agent will have a conversation with someone from HR about their manager, and maybe they don't want their manager to have access to that call. You can mark it as confidential, right? So that's a general layout of the recordings tab, which is a very, very useful place for you to access your call recordings. Now, I'll just open up any call, but as you can see here, you can click any of these and a drop down of that call. It's kind of like a summary of it will pop up. So you can see the group, all of this kind of metadata here, date, time, duration. You can play the call back here, right?
Thank you for calling.
All right. You can also save the audio file so you can see some more metadata or analytics like call summary, sentiment, topics, call type. So all these various AI insights. If you want to see a more detailed view of the call, you can click open in new window or more details right here. And then it'll take you into this screen. And this again is just that same call, but you can see here's the call metadata, the participants. If you want to access the audit trail, it's down here. Right, so you can see everyone who's played the callback, anything like that. Mostly what people will do here is come to the transcript, right? And again, obviously you can play the callback here too at various speeds. But the transcript is going to show you all the analytics, right? The call summary, the various AI insights, sentiment, topic analysis, and then the transcript itself. In the transcript, you can click anywhere, and it'll play the callback from there. Same thing with topics. Right, so that's very helpful. Sentiment analysis gives you a quick explanation too. And then also in the transcript, if you'd like to, you can leave notes, just highlight some of the text, and you can do that. Right, so that's just a quick view of the calls. If you want to look at any agent evaluations that have happened, they're right there. And then some notes too. There's in areas of improvement. This is kind of a custom thing we've set up, but if you want to add notes, you can do that here. All right, now all of these features get aggregated in dashboards as well, or not all of them, most of them. So if we go back to the dashboard, so you can see this main dashboard is basically showing how many calls are happening, right, over any time range. You can see the number of calls, groups, users, and call time. There's a visual representation of the call volume. You can see it's separated by various groups here, right? And you can click into any group to get more granular on the data, right? And then you can click into any user if you want to see just their specific stuff. You can navigate the dashboards using this right here, right? So if I want to go back to the main tab right there, I can click here. There's other dashboards for the sentiment analysis, right? So if you want to view sentiment, if you want to do the sentiment heat map, that's another visualization for it. There's a topic analysis dashboard here, right? So this will show you how many calls are coming in for each topic, and you can click into any of these to get more, again, granular details on that. If you want to update the calls from just this topic, or see them rather, they're right here. I would say that's it for the dashboards. I mean, actually, one thing I'll mention about these dashboards is they all have trend analysis. So if you click compare against previous period and hit search, it'll compare against whatever length of time is pulled up here. So if it's a month, it'll compare against the previous month, a week, the previous week. Right. So that's really helpful just to kind of view, changes or deltas in the call data. Another thing I'll mention here, so the QA dashboard is where you go to review all the QA scores. So similar to the other dashboards, you can click into anything here to get more granular views. It's broken down by different scorecards or different groups. The trend analysis there is helpful as well. Form Designer is where you build your scorecards. So that's where you want to go to build out new ones. And evaluations is just a long list of all the completed evaluations, right? Lastly, there's a reporting, or not lastly, but this reporting section is helpful. This is where you can come and build out various reports. So feel free to play around in there. There should be a couple stock one in there, or stock reports in there for you. And the last thing that I'll mention is the administration tab. And this one, I'll just point out one area that I would say is really, really important, or two, is the AI assistant. So this is where you're going to come to build out various AI prompts to extract insights from your call data. You can do that in the prompt library here, right? Just some examples, like let's say I built this call summary prompt and I want to test it against my call data. I click save and test, and then open up any call, and then hit test. And if I scroll down, I'll see the results will pop up right here. right? And then if I want to, I can go back here and I can start adjusting the prompt. All right, so the administration tab, again, AI assistant is very important for constructing AI prompts. And then similar to that is the topic analysis. So if you want to make new topics or adjust current topics, this is where you'd go. Like if I wanted to change a competitor mention, maybe I want to list some of my competitors in here. Like here, I can add some more competitors. Like if this topic represents where customers mention competitors of our company, our competitors are, and then maybe I need to list a couple more, right? And I hit save. But aside from that, I mean, there's in this administration tab, it's where you're going to create users and roles and all that stuff. I won't go too in depth about this, but this is just where you go to do any type of admin stuff. So I would say that's a good high level overview of the platform and just to kind of get you acclimated to it. If you have any questions about anything within here, feel free to let us know. All right, thank you.